Are you drinking coffee right now? Perhaps you've just enjoyed a three-course meal, or maybe you've had a quick shower. We don't often hear of Muslims being inventors, scientists, or changing the world. What if we told you modern life as we know and enjoy it would be completely different had it not been for the innovation and knowledge of the Islamic world? This short video will take a look at some of the things in our modern society that we take for granted today that wouldn't have been possible without some of the cultural practices of Muslims stemming from the Islamic Golden Age. Coffee was initially discovered in Ethiopia, where an Arab farmer named Khalid noticed his animals became livelier after eating a certain berry. He boiled the berries to make the first coffee. The first official record of the drink is of beans exported from Ethiopia to Yemen, where Muslims drank it to stay awake all night to pray. The coffee originally derives from the Arabic word qahwa. The Kiva Han was the world's first coffee house. It opened in 1475 in Constantinople, now known as Istanbul. The coffee house changed Muslim social culture and became a centre of social interaction and a place where people would assemble to drink coffee and entertain themselves with conversation, music, reading and playing chess, much like we see today. Soon after, others rapidly emerged all over the city, and by the late 15th century it had arrived in Mecca and Turkey, and in Venice by 1645. It came to England in 1650 by a Turk named Pascal Rosé, who opened the first coffee house in Lombard Street, London. Ali ibn Nafi, known by his nickname of Ziryab, which means blackbird, came from Iraq to Cordoba in the 9th century and brought with him the concept of the three-course meal: soup, followed by fish or meat, then fruit and nuts. Praying 5 times a day meant washing a lot too. Washing and keeping clean is a religious requirement for Muslims for the prayer, which perhaps explains why they perfected the recipe for the soap which we still use today. The Arabs combined vegetable oils with sodium hydroxide and aromatics such as thyme oil to create soap. Shampoo was introduced to England by a Muslim who opened Muhammad's Indian vapor baths on Brighton seafront in 1759 and was appointed shampooing surgeon to Kings George IV and William IV. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, popularized the use of the first toothbrush in around 600. Using a twig from the miswak tree, he would clean his teeth, a practice that has survived until today. Substances similar to miswak are used in modern toothpaste. The prayer and the need for punctuality also drove further innovation. By 1206, famous Muslim engineer Al-Jazari had devised some of the first mechanical clocks. He made them of all shapes and sizes, driven by water and weights. There had already been a long Muslim tradition of clockmaking, as they knew it was important to know the time, so it could be used well by doing good deeds, such as knowing when to pray at the right time each day and announce the call to prayer in mosques. The form of chess was played in ancient India, but the game was developed into the form we know it today in Persia. From there it spread westward into Europe, where it was introduced by the Moors in Spain in the 10th century, and eastward as far as Japan. The word Rukh comes from the Persian Rukh, which means chariot. Medieval Europe had kitchen and herb gardens, but it was the Arabs who developed the idea of the garden as a place of beauty and meditation. The first royal pleasure gardens in Europe were opened in 11th century Muslim Spain. Flowers which originated in Muslim gardens include the carnation and the tulip. We all know the ongoing debate on the permissibility of music in Islam, but did you know that much of the craft of a modern musician is down to the innovative Muslim artists from the 9th century? These artists, Al-Kindi in particular, use musical notation, the system of writing down music. Modern musical scales are also said to derive from the Arabic alphabet. Do was Dal, Re was Ra, Mi was Mim, and so on.